cayó mi sentimiento. Frena como yo freno mi decepción. Calla como yo cayó mi sentimiento. Frena como yo freno mi decepción. Ponle rienda tensa al corazón. Enséñalo a ocultar sus amarguras, a que no llore más, a que no piense en mí. Si yo te había olvidado, por fin había logrado no pensar en ti. Si todo fue blasfemia, tú nunca me quisiste, porque mientes así. Si no es posible que me engañes más, no implores más, no me busques más. Escucha este consejo, no vuelvas a engañar en el mundo jamás. Ay, como ayer, como ayer, como ayer, como ayer, como ayer. Dicen que muere de espanto, como ayer, aquel que visiones ve, como ayer. Pero dicen que muere de espanto, como ayer, aquel que visiones ve, como ayer. Yo he visto la muerte en Sanco, como ayer. No sé si me moriré, como ayer. Mi madre me dijo un día, como ayer, Tito, ¿por qué tú no cantas? Como ayer. Mi madrecita me dijo un día, como ayer, Tito, ¿por qué tú no cantas? Como ayer. Si yo te di la garganta, como ayer, de acero y mampostería, como ayer. Vaya Irene, sabrosón con ese tren. El tercero sinfónico. Como ayer, como ayer, como ayer, como ayer.
Well, good morning if it's morning, good evening if it's an evening, and good night if it's night. And a big hearty salam alaikum to each and every one of you that's listening to us live or will be listening to us in archive. I gotta tell you guys, if you're listening to us anywhere other than on Spreaker, you won't be able to see our chat line and what goes on over here. I ask you each to make a simple little thing and come on in here once in a while on, it's 12 o'clock somewhere, and watch the chat line and watch us have a conversation about some of everything. Well, I gotta tell you that it has been an eventful week, and everything is rolling smoothly. But as I sit here and think about myself and at my journey, I sit here and think about some of y'all's. See, guys, I see myself at a place where I've never seen myself before, and of course, every day is a place where you haven't seen yourself before. But see, today I found myself thinking about rage. Think about past hurts and past things that have gone on in my life, and things that, of course, go on in your life. See, there was a little saying that I came up with a couple of years ago, and I actually saw somebody had said something on it. It said, even in rage, good souls show mercy. Even in rage, good souls show mercy. What do I mean by that? Well, see, one cannot keep on beating a dead horse. When your opponent is down, I've seen many of times in my life, and I've seen it on YouTube, and sometimes even splattered on over Facebook, where someone has gotten into a fist fight or into an altercation with someone, and just beat them senseless after the person was down. I choose not to look at those types of videos anymore because I hate to see people stomped or hurt in that manner, even though it might have been provoked by that person. I honestly believe that when someone is down, you don't keep on kicking them or hurting them. The same thing goes in spiritual war, or what some people consider or conceive as spiritual war. I was taught that once you did the magic, or you did the magic, and you just left it alone, you let it lie, you let it wait. You wait to see the outcome. As in the Bible, there were many people who went through their trials and tribulation, whether it be through witchcraft, whether it be through the wicked eye, or whether it be through whatever. See, if one must continue on kicking a lame dog, if one must continue working on a dead situation, then the problem is not the dog. The problem is not the situation. The problem is you. There is no room in spirituality for ego or for rage. Once a battle was won, yeah, you may still have an enemy, but the battle has been won. Many people's downfalls are by their own doing. I have seen so many times where I see people saying, look what I did to this person, or look what I did to that person. And it was nothing but a bad situation. That leads me to my first reading today. This story comes from spiritualshortstories.com. It is called The Only Flaw in the Palace. There is a story of a king who once built a special palace. He made it so impregnable that no enemy could enter it. We also in life make such castles to take all precautions to keep the enemy away, and are absolutely safe. What does man do all in his life after that? Why does he amass wealth? Why does he yearn for a position and fame? So that he may feel safe and secure and his life holds no terror for him? But the fun of the whole thing, and also the secret, is that more measures he takes to safeguard himself, his fear increases in the same proportion. The king had conquered all there was to conquer. No fear was to guard him away from his enemy. The enemy conquered is still an enemy. He who tries to conquer others makes enemies of all. Only he who is ready to accept defeat from one another, man alone be a friend in his world. The king wished to conquer the whole world, so the whole world was his enemy, and his fear had increased 1,000-fold. When fear increased, it became necessary to make provisions for safety. He built a big palace with only one door. There were no other doors and no windows, not even a hole for the enemy to work through. Only one door guarded by thousands of soldiers with naked swords. The neighboring kind came to see this much talked about palace. He was terribly impressed and determined to make a similar palace of his own for his own safety. While taking leave, he praised the king for his foresight and wisdom, and retreated his desire to follow his example. The old beggar sitting by the roadside heard his talk and laughed out loud. The owner of the palace chided him, in saying, "What makes you laugh, fool?" "Since you ask, sire, I shall take the opportunity in telling you," said the beggar. "There is only one flaw in this marvelous structure. It is impregnable, except for the door. The enemy can come through it. If you step in and have a door covered with brick and mortar, it will be completely secure. There will be no enemy that can enter it." It already is," said the fakir, "except for the door. Through the door the enemy can come, and if not the enemy, death is bound to come." "But I will be dead before that," raved the king. "Then understand this well," said the fakir. "As many doors as you had had in your palace, as much existence was with you. As you decreased the doors, so also diminished life within you. Now one door is left, the one opening to life. Close it, and you shall shout out life forever. Therefore I say there is only one flaw." He broke into the pearls of laughter again. "I too had castles, your majesty," the fakir continued. "Then I felt that there was no more prison houses. So I began to widen the doors and separate the walls. But I found that no matter how much I widened the doors, and the walls still remained. So I got out the walls and came out into the open. Now I stay beneath the open skies. I am alive in the perfect sense of the world. But have we not built as many walls around us as possibly could? The walls are made of brick and mortar and are not dangerous, for they can be seen. There are other walls, subtle, impregnable walls. These are hard screens, glass screens of concept, of doctrine, of scripture, absolutely invisible. The walls we have built around our souls for complete security, the thicker the walls, the further it keeps us away from the open skies and the truth. Then the soul becomes restless and struggles, and the more it ignites our souls in us. The more we strive to strengthen these walls, the fear grips us. Perhaps this struggle is restlessness. It is due to the walls. The answer is yes. As long as the soul is confined, it cannot obtain bliss. There is no sorrow except in captivity. Osho, the beginning of the beginning. This story, of course, comes from spiritualshortstories.com. Do yourself a favor and check it out. You'll like it. Maybe you'll grow to like it as much as I do. But stop building these imaginary walls around you of fear of things that have not yet come. Well, guys, you are listening to It's 12 O'Clock Somewhere with your host, Candelo Kimbisa. While we're thinking about that, let's talk about making some change. That was Barry White with Change. I gotta tell you guys, I'm often accosted, or I don't want to say accosted, or I'm often, people come to me with thoughts of being worked on, being worked on spiritually. Someone is always cursing on me. Someone is always working me. These people have worked on me 150 times a day. Well, let me tell you something. I honestly do not believe it, first of all, when someone tells me something like that. When I went to this reader or this worker, and this worker told me that it's true, that this person is working on me. This person is doing this to me, or some unknown person is doing something to me. And my question is, what have you done for this person to so-called be working on you? What time and money does this person have to be able to work on you 100 times a day? Once a month? 2 times a month? I wind up often giving these people generic or a placebo, as they say, in the spiritual thing. Where you have to tell the person, hey man, go ahead and light you a candle, say these prayers, do this, do that, and things will become better for you. I understand that some spiritual workings have residual effects that stick with people for a while. But usually it only goes for a certain amount of time. See, people's economics do not have, a person does not have deep enough pockets to constantly work on you. It is not economically feasible. Especially if you have not done anything to the person. Why would someone want you that way? We have to, as spiritual workers, know how to define and how to diagnose these problems. Is it ego? Is it a narcissistic view of the spiritual world? But one thing I can tell you is that no one in their right mind has the time to constantly curse someone. Most of the time, these other people ain't even thinking about them. But it remains a problem in our spiritual community. Many of us, I want to say many people, because I'm not going to include myself in that group of people, will tell the person, yes, you're cursed. Yes, give me this much. Yes, give me that much. When all they may need is a simple conversation with their ancestors. A simple conversation about their self-feelings and their worth. Nothing to do with witchcraft. Nothing to do with these imaginary enemies. The imaginary enemies are the same ones that I spoke about when the person built those walls around his palace with only one door in. It is time to take a look at these misdiagnoses and be truthful to the people that we serve. But of course, who am I to say? You're listening to It's 12 O'Clock Somewhere with Candelo Kimbisa. I'll be right back.
Step off the train, walking down your street. you've disappeared somewhere. I got a space. You found some better place, and I miss you. Like the deserts miss the rain, and I miss you. Yeah. Like the deserts miss the rain, and I miss you, and I miss you. Like the deserts miss the rain, and I miss you. Yeah. Like the deserts miss the rain, deserts miss the rain. Like the deserts miss the rain, like the deserts miss the rain. Like the deserts miss the rain, and I miss you. Like the deserts miss the rain, oh, I miss you. Like the deserts miss the rain.
That was Everything But the Girl with I Miss You, Like the Deserts Miss the Rain. Today's Tough Shit Tarot of the Day says, have I told you how sexy you look in those old PJs? This card indicates loneliness and discontentment and possibly depression. You are not physically showing up in your life. Start taking a shower, dressing up, spending a little time out of the house. Just for 15 minutes of people watching on a local coffee shop, you will do a world of good, and it can help you find the confidence to get involved in some local group activities. Lord, I know that sometimes life or situations get the best of us. But you must remember self-preservation, self-love, self-care is part of it. A lot of times I see myself doing readings telling mothers and wives that they have forgotten the main part of being themselves. Being a woman or being a man. Have forgotten to adorn themselves. Have forgotten that after your children are gone and the love is gone from your relationship, it is time to start taking care of yourself, sometimes even before those things happen. You have to remember your worth. You have to remember who you are, where you come from, the struggles you have overcome. And just remember, get out the house, people watch. Get out your feelings, unless they're good feelings. But it is all there for us. I gotta tell you, I've also had a stolen quote of the day today that caused a little rift on my social media page. It says, people will throw stones at you. Don't throw them back. Collect them all and build an empire. What does that mean to me? It doesn't actually mean that people are outside throwing stones at each other unless you're in the Gaza Strip or you're somewhere in Paris now. I mean the stones of words and of shade and of discontentment for who you are. There is always going to be someone that doesn't like you simply because you're breathing. But it's time to take all those swirls and things and show them who you are. Build yourself up. Forget about what people are saying or what things people are so-called throwing at you. You're here for a reason. You're here to build. You're here to live. So, Just a little whisper in your ear. Don't forget your worth. And with those stones that they throw, build empires. Not that bad, is it? Not that bad. So we're going to keep on jamming and cruising. Today is Thursday, September the 13th. I see no bad luck in it. Hopefully you won't either. Well, I think I haven't played this one before. So, if you feel like getting up and shaking it off, go ahead and do it. You're listening to It's 12 O'Clock Somewhere with your host, Candelo Kimbisa. I'll be right back.
Do you love what you feel?
Of course, that was Rufus featuring Shaka Khan with Do You Love What You Feel? Hopefully I'm bringing back some memories and got some of y'all shaking in y'all seats when y'all at work and doing your thing. Lord knows I'm doing my thing. I've been sitting here thinking and contemplating as I often do, sometimes getting myself in trouble. But you know what? As they say, the truth will set you free. I've had certain friends during the last couple of days being marked or said of that they were racist or they were appropriators for these certain spiritualities that we practice. Honestly, at least not on any of my friends list that I know of, there are no appropriators. No matter what color, what race, what sexual orientation they may be in. They are respectful. They have come to the table because Spirit has chosen them to come to the table. Many of these people's initiators are black. But see, there has been a new division in our culture, where people say that if you're not African American, you are not African. Not knowing the struggles that everyone else of color has been through. There have been many other countries that were enslaved, and that slavery ran way past that of the United States of America. The only difference between all the cans is the port of entry. Brazil, until now, has been one of the biggest, or was one of the biggest importers of Africans, and has one of the biggest population of African descendants. And I have yet to hear them say anything about someone not being black enough. Elijah Muhammad said once, if you had 10% black in you, you were black in their eyes. And you continue to be black in their eyes. This division between us has to stop. There is no such thing. Guys, know your history. Mind you, this is coming from people that not even a generation ago, let's say 5, 6, 7 years ago, was still reading the book, was still part of the colonizers' religion. And now you want to be an expert on our spirituality. When I say our spirituality, I am not taking you away from this spirituality. This is your spirituality. But it is also the world's spirituality. As my friend Ifa Ibeyu often says, he says, Ifa was brought to the world and is brought for the world. So is Lukumi. Yes, it was not born out of necessity. No, it has been here way before the influx of Christianity, way before the influx of Buddhism. I mean, not Buddhism, of Islam. It has always been here, and it has been here since the beginning of time. So we find, and I am totally in love with the fact that so many people are coming back to it. But it's been here way longer than you can even fathom. Now, do I tell you that Lukumi, Orisha, and Palo are for everyone? No, they're not. But they're not for everyone because certain spirits will not let you join those factions. Why do some spirits do not let you join, let's say, Palo? Well, because maybe your spirits, your core ring of spirits, are Lukumi or are Nigerian or are this, and they hold those resentments inside themselves. Maybe your spirits were basically all Congo and tell you, hey, you can live and die a palero for the rest of your life. You do not need Orisha. You do not need this. You do not need that. Now, there are certain cases, of course, where someone has an influx, a multitude of different spirits that walk around with them. That's why I urge everyone to take a DNA, to learn your ancestors first before you try to do something. See, because that person you may be criticizing for being a so-called appropriator may have 10%, 1% Congo. Let's say 1% Congo. And that Congo spirit is so fucking strong that not even you can fathom. Whereas in your Congo spirits might have been Christian. And yes, there was Christianity in Africa before the diaspora. If you don't want to believe me, go ahead and check out the story of Kimbisa with the little Anthonys. But of course, I'm no one to tell you. Well, you're listening to It's 12 O'Clock Somewhere with Candelo Kimbisa. I'll be right back.
How do you say? De groovy? How do you say? De gorgeous? Ooh la 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 la. How do you say? Delight, 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 delight.
We're going to dance. We're going to dance. We're going to dance and have some fun.
Dig.
The chills that you spill up my back keep me filled with satisfaction when we're done. Satisfaction of what's to come. I couldn't ask for another. No, I couldn't ask for another. Your groove, I do deeply dig. No walls, only the bridge. My supper dish, my succotash wish.
Sing it, baby.
I couldn't ask for another. No, I couldn't ask for another. Groove is in the heart. Groove is in the heart. Groove is in the heart.
That's for mama.
Groove is in the heart.
Watch out.
The depth of who the groove moves us to the nth hoop. We'll go through to what is a who. I couldn't ask for another. No, I couldn't ask for another. DJ Souls was on a roll. I've been told he can't be sold. He's not vicious or malicious, just lovely and delicious. I couldn't ask for another.
Something lurks in this torso. Heart got a deal you wanna know. Delightful, truly delightful. Life making it, doing it, especially at a show. Feeling kinda high like a Hendrix haze. Music makes motion moves like a maze. All inside of me, heart especially. Hilt of the rhythm, where I wanna be. Come on, flowing, glowing with electric eyes. You dip to the dive, baby, you'll realize. Baby, you'll see the funk inside of me. Baby, you'll see that rhythm is the key. Get witty, can't think quitty, stomp on the street when I hear funk blue. Playing pop pipe, follow her to shoot, baby, just sing about the groove. Sing it.
Groove is in the heart. Groove is in the heart. Groove is in the heart. Groove is in the heart.
That was Delight with Groove is in the Heart.
Oh yeah, don't forget, groove is in the heart, and Delight has definitely been known to smoke. On stage, that is.
The groovy.
That happens when you download a song and you don't listen to it all the way through. Well, guys, I want to tell you, man, that this year is going to be a good year for all of us in the Conjure Caravan. We are taking it to Salem, Massachusetts, of course, again, to beautiful Denver, Colorado. But before then, we are also taking little trips on ourselves. Ifa Ibeyu will be in the Conjure shop in beautiful Omaha, Nebraska on February the 7th. I myself will be in a beautiful little shop called Wicked Mojo in Conyers, Georgia. I'll be in and around the Atlanta area on the 3rd week of January. Then we all shoot down to beautiful New Orleans, Louisiana for the St. John's Feast. Please meet Ifa Ibeyu, Starcasses, Zen Moise, and myself for the St. John's Feast. That will be in June. Later on in June, of course, we have the Salem Conjure Gala and then the Mile High Conjure Gala. I hope that all you come by and check us out. I know most of you are reading from the Adventures of High John the Conqueror, but my talks were a little bit longer today, and the songs were a little bit longer. I am seriously contemplating making this show into a 2-hour show. But, you know what? Who has time for me 2 hours in the middle of the day? But guys, I ask you all, as I always ask you, and as I ask them, may all the spirits that walk with you have all the necessary light. From where I, Candelo Kimbisa, sit, that's it. Have a wonderful day, everyone.
I don't want nobody else to ever love me. You are my shining star, my guiding light, my love fantasy. There's not a minute, hour, day or night that I don't love you. You're at the top of my list, cause I'm always thinking of you. I still remember in the days when I was scared to touch you, how I spent my day dreaming, planning how to say I love you. You must have known that I had feelings deep enough to swim in. That's when you opened up your heart and you told me to come in. Oh my love, 1,000 kisses from you is never too much. I just don't wanna stop. Oh my love, a million days in your arms is never too much. I just don't wanna stop. Too much, never too much, never too much, never too much. Woke up today, looked at your picture just to get me started. I called you up, but you weren't there, and I was broken hearted. Hung up the phone, can't be too late, the boss is so demanding. Opened the door up, and to my surprise, there you were standing. Who needs to go to work to hustle for another dollar? I'd rather be 'cause you make my heart scream and holler. Love is a gamble and I'm so glad that I am winning. We've come a long way and yet this is only the beginning of my love. 1,000 kisses from you is never enough. I just don't wanna stop. A million days in your arms is never too much. And I just don't wanna stop. A 1,000 kisses from you is never, never. I just don't wanna stop. A million days in your arms.
It's 12 o'clock somewhere was brought to you by Kimbisa.org, the Mile High Conjure Gala, Love Supply Botanica, and Oh So Divine.